Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our NXT review. And I gotta say, guys, this was one of those rare instances where I actually thought NXT was better than Lucha Underground tonight. And that's really saying something because Lucha Underground was stellar as always. But in regards to NXT, it is incredible what a sense of purpose can do for a show. Because for the longest time, it seems like my biggest hang-up is, well, yeah, NXT's good. They've got all the talent there. You know, they do good matches, I guess, but where's the purpose? You know, what are we driving towards? And tonight, it's really all about, in one form or another, either the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, which was the epicenter tonight, Joe's grievances with Regal, that's continuing, and it's still fucking brilliant all this time later. I don't think there was a segment on this show that wasn't connected to at least something broader in the NXT universe right now, and that was its greatest strength tonight. The idea that it had a sense of purpose and that it cared made me care, and the payoff was fantastic. I can't flourish enough or heap enough praise upon this show, but I'm going to hand it over to my cohort and commentary. Ashton, what did you think of tonight's show?
Dude, I love tonight's show. I'm not going to go as far as you are this week and I did last week and say that I enjoyed NXT more than Lucha Underground. But then again, between the two of us, I am the Prince Puma mark, so it would make sense that I would enjoy Lucha Underground a little more than you did this week. Last week, though, I was that person. Last week, I was saying, like, yeah, NXT was better than Lucha Underground. I enjoyed it more. This week, it's close, but I definitely do have to give the nod to Lucha, but that's not because NXT wasn't good. NXT was freaking great tonight. It feels like NXT is back. You know what I mean? Like they got their feet underneath them. Maybe it's just because we're a little over a month out from NXT TakeOver Toronto, and it's kind of like once they kind of have the TakeOver special set in stone and they know what they're building to, they really ramp up the quality of the writing. So maybe that's just going to have to kind of be a thing that we deal with, where there's always going to be like a post live special drought until they get the next one in their sights. But while we have it, I am enjoying the hell out of it because this was a freaking great show from beginning to end.
Oh, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I could keep giving this show superlatives, but I think you guys want us to talk about it in depth. So let's get right into our first segment, Heat of the Night. And I don't have a heat of the night or a nitpick for miles. I just want to unpack this show. I'm pumped. This was a great hour. Not much more you can say than that, partner. What about you?
No.
All right. Let us get right into our NXT review. And partner, we get a highlight here for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. You know, video of Dusty Rhodes with William Regal's narration that a year ago we lost a legend, and we're, you know, continuing honoring him with the newest NXT tradition, Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, now in its second year. And then when we go to the actual product, I think we actually open up with a Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic tournament match. The Bollywood Boys versus the Authors of Pain. Now, the Bollywood Boys have a screen-and-screen kind of promo. I really can't remember it, but I think more or less it was like, we're going to win, and we hate to say we told you so, but, you know, we told you so, and they were feeling really confident. But then the Authors of Pain are revealed to be their opponents, and that confidence, I think, just kind of goes up in a puff of smoke. This is a great squash match.
And I think the best part about this was the staggering realization that the Authors of Pain as a combined unit weigh almost twice as much as the Bollywood Boys as a combined unit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Because I think the Bollywood Boys are around 350. AOP were announced at 615. So, you know, not quite double, but...
Exactly. Not quite double, but, you know, close enough. I mean, they're gargantuan, these guys. And I'll tell you, it's funny because when I knew the Bollywood Boys were going to be in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, initially I was excited because I wasn't really too thrilled with either of them as individuals in the Cruiserweight Classic. But I'm like, oh, well, their primary stuff is tag teaming, so it'll be cool to see how they tag team. Nope. Because, man, did they get destroyed. especially Gerv of the Bollywood Boyz. He got annihilated. He was the victim of a splash in the corner, and then double team gutbuster, which looked nasty as hell. And then their double team finisher, the side rushing leg sweep and the lariat, which they call the last chapter. AOP brutalized these guys. And I don't necessarily think they are going to be the winners, but if NXT wanted to give them the trophy, I'd believe it. I mean, their booking has been nothing but solid and unstoppable. Why wouldn't I believe it? This is a great squash match. Bollywood Boyz.
And dude, the crazy thing too is, if you think about it, last year, and I actually wanted to bring this up too. I think I am going to appreciate NXT TakeOver Toronto more than I appreciated NXT TakeOver Respect, because NXT TakeOver Respect had that shoehorned women's main event where it's like you're main eventing, but we don't have a men's world title match, so it's like a consolation prize.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm not gonna have that weighing down my mind going into this show. And you know, we might actually even. No, we are going to get a world title match, because it's probably going to be Nakamura and Joe, and neither one of those guys are in the Classic this year. So we're actually going to get a men's world title match and a women's world title match. DRTTC. Like, Toronto is going to be friggin' stacked, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And I'll tell you, I have plenty to say about Joe, but we'll get to him when we get to him. This squash match was great.
Yeah, buddy.
Dude,
oh, and that was another thing I wanted to mention, dude. I felt like this match was like whoever put the tournament together ranked the teams from most likely to least likely to win the whole thing, and they just put the 1 seed against the 16 seed.
I was thinking the same, dude. It's funny you use the seed terminology, because if you didn't, I was going to with the way you were going with that. I'm like, yeah, it was the number 1 seed versus the number 16 seed, and that's what happens. Authors of Pain dominate. Great serviceable match that just moves them forward. Can't wait for their future tournament matches, because I'll tell you, the Authors of Pain really are growing on me. I'm really digging the act, dude. It's good stuff.
Yeah, dude, I freaking love it, man. And yeah, I mean, dominance as expected. It was one of those matches where one guy was in and getting destroyed, and then they let him tag his partner only so that they could beat him up too.
I love it. I love it so much.
But yeah, obviously AOP win. I literally have in my notes that, okay, I'm just going to read this entire line. Match 1, Bollywood Boyz versus Authors of Pain. AOP nearly double BB's combined weight, LOL. Please don't die chance for the boys. AOP win, duh.
Exactly. And on that note, let's move on.
We had our final Dan Matha vignette, and it said tonight.
Sorry, getting ahead of myself. We'll get to that later.
No, that was the yeah. That was appropriate. Trust me. So that was a thing. Our second match of the night, and John, I gotta tell you, this match gave me so much hope for the future. Rich Swann versus Patrick Clark. These guys are wonderful. I mean, Swan is an obvious one, but I freaking love Patrick Clark, man. You got to understand, Swan and Patrick Clark's combined age is under the age of Triple H.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Swan is 25. Patrick just turned 21 in August. And like, this match was it was entertaining too. And the fact that Patrick is already this good at this young, these guys legitimately should both be WWE World Heavyweight Champions before the time they hit like 35 years old.
Dude, in an ideal world, they would be. But you know what? First of all, I love the optimism and the excitement in your voice, because that's exactly what matches like this should invoke. And another note I want to tag onto that, because I think you made excellent points just with everything you just said. Ever since Tough Enough, because you know how hard I was on some of the Tough Enough competitors. Looking at you, ZZ, like I was really fucking ZZ. Dude, I hate him so much. Like,
he got released too, didn't he?
Beg pardon?
Didn't ZZ get released?
Yeah, he did, dude. ZZ.
Yeah, dude. ZZ and Sarah Lee now have both been released already.
Dude, I'm not fronting you or anybody else when I tell you that ZZ was one of those rare moments in human history where Johnny Scumbag and just me right now just became one thing for the same cause. Like, I hated him that deeply. I couldn't make a distinction. But I say that for a reason, because Patrick Clark was the antithesis of that. I rooted for him the entire time. Let me tell you something, people. I love when a guy is that young. That's why I always love the stories. Oh, I started when I was 13. Oh, I lied about my age so I could train with Finn Balor at 15. I love that hunger that young. And when this guy knows the business like he does, puts his nose to the grindstone and gets this good at 21, when most people that age don't even know what they want to do with their lives or don't even have a plan, and this guy's already
I'm 26 and I still have no clue what I want to do with my life.
And Patrick Clark is going out there and he's doing it. I have nothing but the utmost respect for the guy, and a guy that's willing, because he really does strike me, and maybe I'm saying this prematurely, only time will tell, but he does strike me as a Cody Rhodes type, the kind that you could give any gimmick and he will throw his back into it because he knows how important.
I mean, we've already seen it. He's already been a Donald Trump supporter, a pro-America asshole, and now all of a sudden he's Prince.
Exactly. This is a guy that I think really did take one of my favorite adages from Jim Ross to heart: maximize your minutes. You know how valuable TV time is. And if they're giving it to you, you take it. And that's why I root for guys like Patrick Clark. Everybody already knows why I root for guys like Swan. And I think he'll be just fine. Patrick Clark, I hope, makes it, because he is good. He is as good as you say he is. And dude, this was a fun match.
Here's my thing. I mean, Patrick Clark, I feel like Patrick Clark is like a Bobby Lashley type, where it's going to take zero effort for Vince McMahon to see what he is, see what he can do, and immediately get behind him and say, okay, yeah, this guy's a main eventer, no problem. Right. Swan, with Swan, to me, you look at Daniel Bryan, and what's the phrase that gets repeated over and over and over again with guys like Daniel Bryan and Rey Mysterio? Ultimate underdog. There is no greater underdog than Rich Swann in the WWE. This guy is 5'6", 165 pounds, and black. You could not draw a better underdog for the WWE system than Rich Swann.
And you're absolutely right. And, dude, this wasn't even in my mind. Like, this match was great. But given what Swan would do later, I wouldn't even say that this was his best moment of the night. Because,
I know, dude. He is so good. And, I think my favorite part of this match wasn't even during the match itself. It was right after the match ended, when Swan got the 3 count and the crowd started just losing their minds for him. The look on his face, you could really tell that he just kind of had this thought, like, holy shit, did I just make it?
Exactly. And
it was amazing. It was glorious. And screw you, Bobby Roode, for trying to steal that word from me. I'm going to use it at will without even mentioning you from here on out.
Yeah, you tell him, partner. But I got to tell you, man, you know the relationship I was able to establish for a brief time when Force One was in Jersey with Swan and talking to him about his goals. I think he always wanted to be in WWE. I always wanted him to be in WWE, but to see him there is a different thing entirely. And to see him there and succeeding, that's another thing entirely. This crowd was so pro-Swan, it was ridiculous. I mean, they were so...
And the thing is, he's already been on Raw a couple times, so it's not like he's just on NXT and oh, well, he's only over because of the Full Sail crowd. He is on Raw now, and he is getting opportunities to get over in front of the main crowd now. So even though he hasn't necessarily gotten as over in front of the Raw crowd as he is in NXT yet, I think the real emphatic word there is the yet, because he will. There's no doubt in my mind.
Dude, what? And see, I always figured Swan had this ability because I saw it briefly in Force One, but what really hit home to me in this match, dude, the guy's body language and how he communicates with the crowd, like Patrick Clark's entrance, when everybody else was kind of bemused by it, that face that Swan had that Tom Phillips said was going to get gifted and memed was fucking gold. Swan was like, am I here right now? What? What's happening? Dude, he's freaking great. And dude, like I said, what he would do later in the night, the guy's money. Even if you want to make him that tag team specialist guy, you give him somebody like his partner, who we found out was No Way Jose. And again, we'll talk about them later. It's money. Just print the fucking money. And I'm so happy for him. I'm happy for Patrick Clark that he's still getting these opportunities. And again, it was a fun match. Patrick Clark had a 6 spine buster at one point. I'm like, damn, Patrick, get after it.
Yeah. He's really good, dude. He's gonna be a freaking mega star. And like I just have in my mind, like, just imagining Rich Swann Bank. Oh
My God, yeah.
It's too good. And then, like, just imagine, like, someone like The Miz after a long, hard-fought Intercontinental or whatever kind of title defense, and then Swann's music hits, the crowd that would react, and especially if it was like a post-Mania Raw, like, I want everything for Rich Swann. He's so good.
He and I'm so glad to hear people like you say it and other people know it, because he is, and he works his ass off. And let me just say one more thing about Patrick Clark being only 21. Do you know what the best fucking part about you saying that he's just going to be great in this huge star in this day and age? Because even for all its faults, I think we are living in a great year for pro wrestling. It doesn't have to be WWE. I want it to be WWE for Patrick Clark because he wants it to be WWE. But that guy, to me, with how he puts his back into things, he could go to New Japan. He could go to Lucha.
He could do it anywhere. But dude, like, I think my thing is he's not going to have to, because he's going to become a star in WWE.
And I think you're right. I do think you're right, partner. I just wanted to hammer home that I think he's so good, and in the age he finds himself in, he could find work anywhere. Like that. That is a guy, because again, one of the coolest things when I talk to some indie guys about the business, I don't anymore, but I used to. One guy told me, if you're going to get in this business, prepare to spend as much money as you make. Patrick Clark's one of those guys. He may be doing that now, but one day he's going to find himself very financially secure with how good he is. And, like, I'm very happy for him for that.
You know how we've had a couple questions on TWitWoW, like, if you could take little parts of every or of different wrestlers of your choice to make a super wrestler, what would you use? My new answer to that question is just going to be Patrick Clark.
Yeah.
We even heard, like, Rich Swann talking about, No Way Jose, he's 6'3", 6'6" plus with the hair, but Patrick Clark's also 6'3", and Patrick Clark's also 21 years old, and Patrick Clark's also ripped to the freaking gills, and Patrick Clark can also move like a freaking cruiserweight, and, like, there is no other added element that I need. And he's charismatic and boo. Like, what? How? John, I need you to explain to me how this guy.
Not only is he charismatic and possesses all those attributes that you ascribe to him, but he's so willing and so hungry to get better. Like, that's my big thing. Because when you're working with a mind as great as William Regal or whoever the fuck you're working with, don't be stupid. See, that's what I think really irritated me with ZZ. It wasn't just the idea where he came from or some of the stupid shit that he said. Like, I could get past all that. I think what really bothered me was they tell him, ZZ, you got to do this. And then he'd be like, but I'm trying, and I know if I go down to the bayou, I'll find myself. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, really, shut the fuck up. You are killing me. You are literally killing me. And yet with Patrick Clark, if William Regal was like, Patrick, I think you should do this, this, and this, he would nod. He would be readily attentive, and he would go out the next night
and a pen available so that he could make sure to write it down so that he could keep it locked in his brain.
Exactly. And then the next night, not even a moment after Regal said it, next night he'd apply it and he'd get better. And that's what I think is going to make him succeed, as well as everything you just said. But I could talk about this match alone because both guys are so amazing. Yeah.
Dude, to me, Patrick Clark is what would have happened if WWE didn't miss on Kenny King.
Yes, dude. Yes. Yeah, you know what, dude? I have nothing more to add. If there's anything else you want to say, the floor is yours, but I think that's a perfect note to end on because they've got a lot here. The only other thing that I want
to say is that Swan won with a cartwheel moonsault, and it's cool to see him changing it up and not only using the standing 450 to win matches. I thought that was awesome. And both of these guys, if the WWE knows what's good for them, and they don't, so it's probably not going to happen, but if they did, these guys would both be massive stars within the next 3 to 5 years max.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right, brother, let's move on. I got a big smile on my face, though. What are we talking about next?
Up next, we were in a trainer's room with Liv Morgan getting looked at, and Billie Kay and Peyton Royce show up. and just kind of poke fun at her, talking about how, oh, can we call her Liv anymore when she barely survived? And yeah, that's about it.
Bullying rules. Let's move on.
Well, up next was actually a Peyton Royce match, but Billie Kay accompanies her to the ring, so they are actually a pairing now, which I think is freaking awesome because NXT loves to have their female pairings. At first it was Summer Rae and Sasha Banks, then it was Sasha and Charlotte, then it was Dana and Emma, and now it looks like these two, Billie, if I can get my B names proper, Billie and Peyton are going to be that new kind of power duo in the NXT women's division. I'm guessing they are going to be fodder for Asuka until they feel like Ember Moon has been appropriately built to the point that she can beat Asuka, which, if you ask me, is probably going to be the WrestleMania equivalent, which is going to be like in April.
Right. Partner, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce for the longest time. I've always kind of associated with them with you. They're your girls. So what did you think about this match for Peyton Royce finally getting some shine in singles action?
I was going to say, I forgot to even mention Peyton Royce's opponent, Danielle, Kamela. And I got to say, I don't know if it was because she was green or just because she was not as athletic as you would hope, but Kamela was kind of underwhelming in this match. A lot of the time, I like to pay attention to the so-called jobber, to the girl that's supposed to be in the match to make their opponent look good, just to see if they're like a real prospect. Like, can they be really good and can they kind of make it to the top in WWE, and I didn't really see that in this girl. Not to say she can't, just that with what she showed in this match, I wasn't impressed. Peyton was good. I love her spinning heel kick that she does. Like, not even the jumping variation. She just stands and does like a backspin. I think it's like a crescent moon kick or something like that. I love her corner choke that she does where she grabs the bottom rope to choke her opponent. That's freaking brutal. I loved the leg-based submission that she did on the ropes, almost tarantula-esque, but different. And her finisher I thought was a little bit underwhelming, but it was a fisherman's suplex, so maybe like an homage to Mr. Perfect. I don't know.
And dude, I gotta be honest. I agree with just about everything you said. The one point where I think you and I deviate, I love that fisherman. It's funny you mentioned Mr. Perfect too, because that's the name that came to my mind. Dude, the snap on that fisherman and the speed, I'm like, that's fucking gorgeous.
I was gonna say, I will give her definite credit because it wasn't just a fisherman suplex so much as it was a snap fisherman suplex, which definitely. Bam. I mean, if Mr. Perfect could beat guys with a normal fisherman suplex, there's no lack of believability that she could put someone away with that vicious variation of it.
Dude, I hope she keeps it. Because here's the thing, too, and I have to confess this about myself. When people do it well, I can be a mark for people like bringing back the credibility of more standard maneuvers. That's why I was really big on Dolph bringing back the sleeper when he was still heel and beating guys like Great Khali with it. I thought that was the coolest shit
ever. Like 5 years ago, though, dude.
Yeah, but that's always like my go-to point of like one of my favorite examples. And now Peyton Royce bringing back like the fisherman suplex, especially again with that snap and that speed. The form is great. So that was actually my favorite part of what she was bringing. However, I do agree with everything else you said wholeheartedly, especially your assessment of Danielle Kamela. I like that she did try like drop kicks and a nice cross body. I do think she is green. Maybe if we buff out the edges, we'll get a real prospect there in due time. But for right now, I think you had the perfect word. I was underwhelmed by it as well. But the important thing here is Peyton Royce does get the win. Long overdue that these women finally get some spotlight, even if it is as fodder for Asuka. It's about time they really took more of a prominent role in this women's division in 2016. So I'm quite happy with the two of them.
Yeah, the only negative about this match is that Peyton switched from shorts to long pants.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though. I really dig the attire. I dig the air she gives off. I mean, Billie and Peyton, they get it. And one of these days, they're going to be ruling that division. And I think I'm still confident one day we'll both be calling them former NXT Women's Champions. So here's to hoping.
Yep. Up next, we had a Charly Caruso interview with Perfectly Glorious, or they're referring to themselves now as Glorious 10. And just as Ty was about to speak, Bobby Roode cuts him off, and he's acting like super abrasive. And then Ty goes to start talking about Dusty and that kind of stuff again, but Roode again hogging the spotlight, doing the glorious pose, and I was just like, dude, are you okay? And then he's just like, yeah, can you see it? See what? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? And he was like, just being obnoxious and a glory hog. And then Ty, I think, just kind of says, all right, whatever, and they leave.
See, I got, first of all, I love this because, I mean, everybody knows how over Ty Dillinger is, how great he is. I think we say it every week that he has a segment.
I will say, I love that they didn't decide to go full-blown Roode face turn for this.
Yes, and I was getting ready to make the same point, Ashton, and I'll tell you why. What I love about Roode's approach, we can have heel teams in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, obviously. I mean, we saw earlier in the night, AOP advanced, and there are going to be other heel teams, and, we'll get to that. But even the heel teams, I think they always have something respectful to say about Dusty or this and that, or they always make it like about Dusty. Not saying Roode didn't, but I love how when Ty tries to talk about Dusty, Roode takes the spotlight for himself with his posing and his talking over. So he's not explicitly disrespecting Dusty, but I like how he's like, yeah, Dusty's cool and all, but let's focus on me. Like, I think that works. That is a dedicated heel right there. When you're willing to take the spotlight from Dusty freaking Rhodes, who is a god in Full Sail in NXT, as well he should be. He made many viable contributions there. Like, that is awesome to me, that you're that committed. And I think it's going to make the feud that much more worthwhile, because whenever you've heard Ty talk about this between tonight and a WWE.com exclusive he had on last week's NXT, like after Roode made the offer, it really is all about Dusty for him. He said, like, I want to do right by him. He believed in me. I don't think, up until now, I've really been living up to my potential, in his eyes, and I want to win this for him. And then you have Roode come in and be like, that's great, Ty, but me. And it's fucking great. I love it.
Yeah. All right. So then...
Is it time?
Help. I might need your help on this because I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it all the way through.
Oh, God, it's time, isn't it?
So then we got the big thing that we've been waiting for months now. We've been getting these Dan Matha vignettes, and it is time for his debut. And I just, John, here's the thing. He comes out, and he walks down the ring, and he gets in the ring. And in that time, while he was making his entrance and walking down the ramp and getting in the ring and doing his pose and stuff, in that time, I wrote a note that I wanted to bring up on TWitWoW. Do you want me to just read it verbatim?
Of course.
There is nothing magnetic about Matha whatsoever. He might be an athlete, but he ain't a star.
Interesting.
And then Samoa Joe fucked his shit up.
Before we get to that, and I'm hoping I can hold the laughter in long enough, that note about Matha is, how can I put this? With a note like that, do you think Matha is like dead on arrival? Do you think he can learn to attain that star quality, or is there just he's
worse than Mason Ryan?
Wow, so he's done already in your mind?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow. Just shot. Okay.
And it's not because I don't think he's good in the, I haven't even seen him in the ring, so I can't even make a judgment on that. It's when you get these big former football players, the number one thing that they need to have to make it in this business, and it's something that I think Batista is the best example of, is magnetism. They need to have that element where no matter what they're doing, no matter who else they're in the presence of, your eyes are drawn to them. And literally the only thing that this guy has going for him that could even pretend to be magnetism is height. And that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
He is a vanilla giant. They always make fun of vanilla midgets. This dude is a vanilla midget in a 6'7" frame.
Yeah, I gotta say, it's funny you use that terminology because that is kind of a vibe he gave off in his entrance. But now I can't hold it in any longer. I've got to talk about what happened, because to me, it's funny that you make that note and you're always on top of your game. Me, I'm just like, I wonder what this debut is going to be like. Just kind of reclining back in my chair. And then all of a sudden, I hear the pop. Like, holy fuck. this guy may be more over than I realized. But then I see
no, Steve, I didn't even have that reaction because they were looking down the ramp, like they were looking at the Tron when they popped, and I was like, oh god, who is this mystery opponent that's gonna get squashed by this guy that these people love so much? Like, is Blue Pants coming back and we're introducing intergender to NXT? But no, it was Joe coming on to seek his justice, I guess.
And you gotta understand, dude, it took me like a second to register. Oh wait, they're looking at something. And Matha, he's looking at something. What are they looking at? What is this tour de force? And then it's, oh, of course, it's Samoa fucking Joe. And the moment, dude, I gotta tell you, because everybody that knows me knows I'm two things. I'm a prick and I'm an asshole. And when I see Samoa Joe walking down the ramp, both of those elements, the prick in me and the asshole in me, died. Not by the sight of Joe. Oh, no. No. It's something that most people might not have caught because they were too busy enjoying the ass whooping that was dished out. Matha actually stood his ground and did the come on, bring it motion with his hands. And I died.
And the best part about it is Joe gets in the ring and he looks like he's walking towards the ref. And Matha is like to his left. And then he just turns, looks at him, and starts swinging.
Hey, dude, he beat that man's ass.
Dude, I just had a revelation for who Dan Matha reminds me of.
Who?
Nathan Jones.
I knew you were going to say Nathan Jones. I had it in my head. I'm like, he's going to say Nathan. And yes, because I'll tell you, from the verse vignette, he did give off that vibe with the bald head and the height and everything. I'm like, oh my God, Nathan Jones' clone. Like, holy shit.
And of course, we can't forget to mention the phallic neck and head.
And I'll tell you, if he's Nathan Jones' clone, I think he would have preferred maximum security prison to the ass whooping that Joe dished out to him. Because holy fuck, did he whoop that ass? Guys, you gotta understand. And Ashley can attest to this because he's, well, I mean, literally been by my fucking side through this whole thing because it's NXT TWitWoW. Everybody that knows me knows I've been loving Joe's work this year, especially as a heel. And I am loving. I mean, folks, let me tell you, when I pitch a goddamn tent, when I know this man comes out ready to ruin a fucking life because it doesn't matter to him, I fucking love this warpath that he's on.
Can I just say, too, on Monday Night Raw, you can tune in to watch Braun Strowman squash people the size of James Ellsworth, or you could tune into NXT and watch Samoa Joe squash 6'8", 300-pound former football players.
Yes, and dude, now I might get a bit of flack for this, but again, just my opinion. It's funny you mentioned to me that for you, Matha has like no magnetism, and to me, like I'd say it like really no presence. Now, I think Braun Strowman does have presence.
Dude,
but
honestly, magnetism and presence are basically the same thing. So we're on the same page there.
And I'm not saying Strowman doesn't have presence, but goddamn, Joe has it in fucking spades. Like,
he does, dude. Dan, can I just point out, like, we haven't even addressed this yet. They up for over a month and the funny thing is you could tell that they had no investment in him either because every single vignette was just a slow panning shot of him standing in a ring. They didn't put any effort into that at all. You could shoot that in under an hour and like $10 with some decent filming equipment. Literally the $10 just goes to all the baby oil required to make him look ripped, because if you saw him when he came out, he looked like he was about 7/10 of the size he was in those vignettes. And so they spent just this little tiny budget, just this little bit of effort to make this one vignette, and then they just played it over and over and over again every week for someone to come out and get obliterated by Samoa Joe.
I can't stop laughing because Samoa Joe, you gotta understand, people. If I was in a busy space,
I also want to point out that the Ely brothers have not been seen since their beatdown, so I don't think we're gonna see this guy again anytime soon, and hopefully we don't. But I'm just bringing it up. I'm just saying we haven't seen the Ely brothers since Joe beat them down.
You guys have to. I still can't stop laughing. You guys have to understand. that if I was on a busy city street and I was walking and I happened to have the misfortune of bumping shoulders with Samoa Joe, and I felt confident maybe because I had one too many drinks in me, and I was like, "Hey, asshole!" And he turned around and he looked at me the way that he's been looking in that goddamn camera winning his NXT championship, I would get down, I would unfasten his pants, and I would suck his dick because I would not want to get the shit beat out of me. Like, that is a man that if you
That seems like a really good way to get the shit beat out of you, John.
Well, no, I mean, pretty much saying I would give an apology in any form he required, because at that point, he dictates the goddamn terms. The biggest mistake people make when they share a ring with Samoa Joe is thinking that their life belongs to them. Because the moment you lock eyes with him, it's fucking forfeit. Okay? It's forfeit. And he even, dude, then if the physical beatdown wasn't enough, he gets a mic and he slays there too. Tick-tock! Tick-tock! Who's the next head that's gonna get rocked? William Regal! You have a choice. Either give me Nakamura or give me my NXT championship. That sense, I didn't think it was possible.
The best part is, and I know that you said Regal's name, but Joe didn't. Joe did not even mention his name in this promo. He let the crowd do it for him. The crowd was chanting, Regal, Regal, William Regal, come out here, and he didn't say it.
Yeah, you know why I think I got that confused? Because when Joe was walking up the ramp, that's when he called out Regal's name, because he said, 1 week, Regal, 1 week. And, dude, I didn't think it was
and that was
possible.
the scariest part, because it wasn't just a generic 1 week. It was 1 week or I'll escalate things. Like, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to come out and try and beat up Asuka or something? Like, dude, what in the world?
Dude, I know a lot of people, and they have every right to, are just going to immediately go, oh, that's Johnny Scumbag being Johnny Scumbag. But I legitimately would love to see this happen. If there was ever a time to maximize the utility of plants in the audience, now is the time. Because I would love if he gave the appearance that Joe started beating up NXT fans. Because
that would be amazing.
Yeah. What were we going to say?
I said that would be amazing.
Yeah, because, dude, if he makes it seem like being in that arena is a liability to the fans' welfare, that's when Regal's going to take it.
Oh, my.
They need,
dude, that is brilliant. That is a freaking brilliant next step.
Yeah, dude, they need.
Or, I mean, if they don't want to try and make it seem like the crowd is being threatened, maybe he just goes after an official or two.
And, dude, see, here's me, and see, this is where we get into the fantasy booking, and oftentimes I do think you and I both do it better than the WWE product. Not just a plant, and yes, this is the Johnny Scumbag in me. Make that plant have a family. Like, I would want to see a guy that knows he's going to take a beating. That's the plant. And then you have, like, maybe 2 kids there. And Joe does the coquina clutch to that guy right in front of his goddamn kids. Like, because Regal, with the kind of character he is, would be like, oh, fucking no. Like, I cannot have this happen on my show because the next step now is lawsuits. People are going to start suing me thinking they don't feel safe in NXT shows. If they're going to commit to this of Joe on a warpath, fucking commit. Put your foot on that goddamn gas and watch the magic happen, because I'm telling you, dude, I didn't think it was possible. I really didn't think it was possible, but he is more entitled for that NXT championship than he was last year at the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Holy fuck. Like, the idea that he's willing to ruin lives simply for the sake of calling himself champion. I know. Here's the thing. Triple H used to exhibit those same tendencies, like, oh, I'll brutalize Eugene with a sledgehammer if it means being world champion. I'm being honest, and again, I may get flagged for this. He wishes he could be as 1/10 as badass as Joe when Joe does it. Triple H was never this badass to me, ever when he'd do this shit.
The thing is, like, Triple H always did it to established people.
Right.
Is trying to ruin the future of NXT.
And Joe even said, I took out your blue chipper, your golden boy blue chipper, and then the camera pans. The camera pans to Matha's lifeless body. And I'm like, oh, great debut, kid. Oh,
good job, Danny boy.
You know what? Now that we've had such a spirited discussion about it, this might have been my segment of the night. Dude, I'm loving everything Samoa Joe right now. The guy can't do any wrong. I want him And honestly, knowing how great he's been about everything, he'd probably be game for it. I would love Samoa Joe to just walk up to John Cena and do this to him. Like, holy fuck, just beat up everybody, dude. Beat up everybody.
That would be incredible.
Dude, I got nothing else to say at the risk of being repetitive, so unless you have anything you want to add, we can move on. This was just fucking great.
Up next, we had a Dasha Fuentes interview with Jose and Swan. No way, Jose, Rich Swan. These guys are going to be tag team partners, and they actually explain why they chose each other as partners. Jose talks about how, the life was kind of trying to get Swan down, but he said, no way, and he made it this far. And then Swan talks about Jose being 6'3", 6'6" with the hair, and the crowd and people underestimate him because he likes to go out there and have a little fiesta, so it only makes sense that he'd be his partner. And then he said he has one question for their opponents: can you handle this? And then it's no way, Jose, and they're going back and forth. Can you handle this? No way, Jose. Can you handle it? Like, it's so good. I love these guys together. It's awesome.
Knowing in one promo segment that they have this kind of synergy of mixing up their catchphrases so naturally and organically, give me the t-shirts now. Like, this team needs to be a thing in my mind beyond the Tag Team Classic, because I see real potential in this. I do. And it's funny because you and I, what did we always say? If you were going to stick No Way Jose in the tag team division, Swan should be his partner. And this is a case, in my mind, of us being validated, because these guys, I can already tell, it's going to be magic. It's going to be wonderful. They work so well off of each other in a verbal sense. And if they can do that, I feel like the in-ring stuff kind of takes care of itself. So I'm really excited to see these guys. I thought this was a great segment. And yeah, I actually think this Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is shaping up to be better than the inaugural one. I'm loving the teams that are in it.
By far.
Yeah, dude, it has a great vibe and an energy to it. And yeah, this team, I hope they go far, dude. I'm really excited.
I completely agree. All right, so up next, we had our final, hopefully, SAnitY vignette. And they will be debuting next week, and we already know that they're going to be going against
Glorious 10.
Glorious 10. Yeah. So that, I'm really curious where they go with that, because they could just kind of do, well, never mind. They could have Bobby end up turning on Ty, and that would be, it would set up a good match at TakeOver Toronto. But that brings me to our next match: Andrade, Cien, Almas, and Cedric Alexander versus Top Guys, The Revival.
And you know something? The Revival may call themselves Top Guys to get that heat and irritate people, but can we all agree at this point that it's just kind of earned? Because, man, these guys are incredible. Like, honestly, I'm watching them tonight, and don't get me wrong, American Alpha is still my favorite team in WWE, but, like, these guys have been, like, they haven't missed a beat at all. They just get better and better and going out there and doing their thing. And even with a thrown-together team like Almas and Cedric, which that had its own beauties. I mean, they had the high-flying synergy. They had a great spot where Andrade does like the caught up in the ropes like a web thing, and then Cedric does a move over the ropes onto the Revival. That was great. But then, something interesting happened. Andrade's getting worked over, and the crowd starts chanting, "We want Cedric." And there comes a point where Cien is able to make the tag, and Cedric lights up the ring like the 4th of July. Everybody loves that he's there. Great energy, everything. Unfortunately, that wasn't enough because he got caught and hit with a shatter machine. It was actually a brilliant sequence because they tried hitting it the first time, and Cedric, with his agility and athleticism, was able to evade it, but he got caught the second time around. Just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. He gets hit with it. 3 count. And then you have, and I'm sorry, I have to chuckle again, because then Andrade's like, oh, man, really sucks for us, bud, but you did so good out there. Everybody, didn't Cedric do great? Yeah, Cedric, we want Cedric. Yeah, dude, it was great teaming with you. We lost, but here, let me help you up. And then, I don't know if you caught this, but I was dying because he was just telling you, I'm turning heel. I'm going to give it to him. Because he started shaking his head.
Yeah, he freaking was literally messaging the crowd like, sorry guys, you're not gonna like this.
Yeah, that's literally with that head shake, like no, and it just starts beating him up, dude. And let me just say, and this is total Johnny Scumbag, Cedric got exactly what he deserved. I was so happy to see this.
What do you mean? How did he deserve this?
Because look, let me explain. Okay, I actually have reasons for this time. You have this crowd. You contain yourself.
Just talk.
You have this crowd go, we want Cedric, while Andrade is being picked apart by a legitimately dangerous tag team, so thanks for giving a fuck about my welfare, Full Sail. And then he obliges because he desperately wants to be liked by these urchins. And then Cedric, oh, look at me, guys. Ain't I amazing? This is why you wanted me to get signed, right? And you know, fine, he's, again, like I said, lighting it up like the 4th of July. But then you get caught, and you ate the pin. So Andrade, because he listened to one group of idiots, tagged in the other idiot who lost the match for them. Yeah, Cedric got exactly what he deserved and exactly what was coming to him. And you know something? The best part of all this wasn't even the beatdown, surprisingly, even though Cedric's face ate steel steps and it was amazing. The best part was just how free Andrade felt. He goes on top of the ramp to end the show. He gets down on his knees and he outstretches his arms like he's been fucking saved. Like he just got a weight off of his goddamn shoulders. Like, finally, I don't have to smile for you fucking losers that don't even know what wrestling is when I'm one of the best at it. Fuck you people. Like, it was amazing. Dude, oh my God, what a night tonight for heels. And what a night to, like, my blood is boiling. It's so good to be awful to other people. Yes. Yes.
Okay, now I'm going to bring it back. I don't see how anything that caused Andrade to turn on Cedric was actually something of Cedric's doing.
He ate the pin. How can that not be his doing? He lost the match for his team.
Double teamed. Anyone who gets double teamed is probably going to end up eating the pin in a tag team match that's been going on for as long as that one was. And the reason he was being double teamed is because Dash Wilder pulled Andrade off the apron and knocked him out, so he couldn't help. So, like, how is that Cedric's fault that he got double teamed?
Oh, I'm sorry, he got double teamed. I mean, I think that's something you should anticipate when it's a freaking tag team match. Cedric should have come prepared with a backup plan. I'm sorry he couldn't handle 2-on-1 odds. You failed, Cedric! You failed!
God damn it.
Yes. But dude,
so we finally have heel Andrade Cien on this, and
yes,
dude, even just from the facial expression leading up to the heel turn, everything about him got better in that instant.
Yes. I'm sorry, just the way you said that just hit me the right way. Like,
it's like
about.
It's like he spends the match being a solid 8 out of 10. Like, you're really good, man. I really like having you around. And then the match ends and he helps Cedric up, and then that facial expression turns him up to a 10 out of 10.
Exactly. I'm gonna give it.
We just stayed in that 10 out of 10 territory for the rest of the beatdown. It was amazing.
And dude, if I could compose myself to give one professional and sincere thought about the whole thing, this is gonna be a great feud. This is going to be an amazing feud because I'll tell you.
It is.
Like, with me joking, like, oh, it's Cedric's fault. Obviously, it wasn't. But that's what makes the heel turn so brilliant. Actually, this is one of the few times where I feel like Full Sail actually helped something. Because
well, no, I was even going to say, you were kind of alluding to it being Cedric's fault, but what I really wanted to drive at was that it was Full Sail's fault because they were the ones that were cheering, like, we want Cedric. Like, Andrade's really good, you guys. Don't be such, like, narrow-minded assholes, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, Andrade's trying over here. And, dude, like, with how beloved Cedric is.
I mean, granted, if I was there, I would have been chanting right along with them because I prefer Cedric to babyface Andrade as well. But it worked. So Andrade turned heel, and now everyone's happy. including Andrade, as proven by the pose in the end of the show, which was incredible.
He's like, yes, I finally get to be me. And
it's like Chris Jericho always says, drink it in, man. Well, Andrade was drinking in that heat, brother.
Oh, I had a fucking big gulp drinking in heel Andrade Cien Almas. But I can't wait for this feud because with how beloved Cedric is and with how great a heel we know Andrade can be, I'm going to really put in chokehold air quotes, just to really emphasize, I hope that this is one of those feuds that helps both guys because that's exactly what this feud should be. Because this should be a feud that both legitimizes heel Andrade, like I'm here to get shit done, and also gives Cedric even more babyface fire, even more babyface sympathy. Because I'm telling you, if he isn't already, by this time next year, if not a hell of a lot sooner, Cedric will be the top babyface in NXT. Like, he'll be that guy where people will be clamoring for him to be getting opportunities at the NXT Championship to me. And I feel like Andrade is a great, great feud for the both of them. I hope they go out and they kill it. I hope this feud elevates the stock of both guys. And this was the perfect punctuation to such a purposeful, like, we're putting our best foot forward episode of NXT. I fucking loved it.
And another thing I wanted to bring up, and I agree with you completely, because they have a built-in story here of Andrade showing up and being spectacular in the ring, but not being able to win over the Full Sail crowd because he was going against Ty, and it just wasn't working out. So the Full Sail crowd didn't like him, and he, all he wanted was to be accepted. And then Cedric shows up. 2 matches, he has them on their feet chanting, "Please sign Cedric," because they love him so much. What did he do to deserve that I didn't do?
Exactly, dude. Excellent point. Yeah. Exactly.
So you have their built-in story there, and even possibly during or maybe even after this feud, I want Los Ingobernables de Florida.
Yes, dude. Oh my God, yes. It makes me sad at the same time because everything you just said, particularly about the built-in story, like that's what I really want to zone in on and fixate on. Like, that stories like that are pretty much a gimme. Like, you have to try to make them fail. And I hope that's not going to be the case in the NXT because I'm dead serious. Like, this really should be one of those feuds. Really, every feud should elevate everybody involved just by its nature. But this especially is one of those feuds. Like, come on. Both guys have to come out of it better than they came into it. And I'm excited for it simply because where both these guys are. And Andrade, like, when we were getting, like, the hangout and everything set up, he gave, like, a 30-second WWE.com exclusive. It was mostly in Spanish, so I really can't comment on it much. But he did say in English, "Who is Cedric? He's nothing. I'm the best." And I'm glad Andrade's embracing that. Like, I know where I've been. I know where I'm going. Who the hell are you? It can work, dude. It can really work, and NXT could have something very special on their hands. Let's hope they hit it. But, dude, I got nothing more to say about it. I fucking love tonight's episode. Man, it feels good to see it.
I'm also going to add, him being able to speak in Spanish for his promos is going to get him that much more heat.
Exactly. You're right. You're absolutely right. So what could normally be a detriment if you're a babyface because they really want you to learn English and everything, and I have no doubt they still want the same for Andrade, at least now it can be a heel asset because, while you're learning, you could speak Spanish and you still get heat. So, dude, excellent points all around. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, sir. Let's move on to our next segment.
All right. High spots and low shots. Dude, I got to, and feel free to share it if you want, because I can't think of anybody worse. My low shot, Dan Matha.
Yes. Yes. John, I don't know if we've ever had an example in NXT before where we watched somebody's career begin and end in the same night.
I know, right? You failed, Matha! You failed! So much. You have a phallic head and your face is weird.
He really does look. He's like Tom Hardy on a penis.
Yeah. The only thing you're inserting that head into is an unemployment line, asshole. Suck it. So yeah.
God.
Dude, your fucking vignettes. I feel like Roman Reigns pitched those goddamn vignettes. So, Roman, how do we hype you up? I could pose and look good. That's pretty much what you fucking did.
Dude, and the worst part is they made him look so much more ripped in the vignettes than he really is. Oh, my God.
Oh, so are we sharing the slow shot?
Oh, my God, yeah, absolutely.
And it's back to me. And you know what? Okay. It was such a great fucking night on NXT. For the first time in a long time, I'm struggling with my high spot, but
I know there are some really good high spot choices tonight.
But I gotta go with my boy. I gotta go with the guy that I think gave us the most laughs tonight. Samoa fucking Joe.
Oh, awesome.
Because, oh man, Dan Matha, especially with a head like that, pretty much got punched in the dick, both literally and metaphorically.
That was amazing. Tears. I'm crying over here, brother. You gotta stop. Oh my God.
So I mean, look, and if I could compose myself for 2 fucking seconds, guys, I normally I put things to a vote. I like to think that Scum Squad is a democracy, but I'm just telling you guys right now, Samoa Joe is now the new captain of the Scum, because I can't surpass that. I cannot touch that shit, and I love what he's doing. I love that he's putting Regal in a fucking spot, and what I love about this too. And I gotta say, like, I love Seth Rollins right now. I'm loving the babyface character. I'm loving everything. But I feel like NXT is getting this authority friction right. We don't see Regal all the fucking time. We don't even see Samoa Joe and Regal all the time. But you know there is a tension there because Joe, through his actions on other people, are reminding him, I don't like Regal, and Regal better make shit right. They are getting this right. And Joe easily is my high spot. A lot of great nights tonight, but Joe continues to kill it again, literally and metaphorically. He's just on another level right now.
You're also going to kind of share an honorary high spot, that being Rich Swann, because not only did he win an awesome match, but he also had a really fun promo tonight.
Yes, dude. Yes.
Our shared honorary high spot, but my actual high spot has got to go to Andrade, Cien, Almas, because he legitimately did look like a free man at the end of this show. It was amazing.
Yeah, dude, I love that you picked Andrade because I knew one of us had to. And all I got to say to Andrade, dude, brother, welcome home. Welcome home to the alignment you should have always been. I can't wait to see his forward, dude. I feel like lately when we've been reviewing NXT, it's always great. It's always fun. I love bouncing stuff off of you, but man, I got a pep in my fucking step tonight. This was great, dude.
Yeah.
This was great.
It was. And now, I mean, after knowing just, because you've got the whole Johnny Scumbag persona, and knowing that we had the Samoa Joe and Andrade Cien Almas beatdowns tonight, now I understand why you liked NXT more than Lucha Underground tonight. I get it.
Yes.
I don't get it in the sense that I agree with you, but I completely understand why your perspective would have that opinion.
I mean, dude, for me, and you're right, like, you're not wrong with what you give, but again, to me, and maybe it's just because, like, I hadn't seen it in so long, or at least I felt like I hadn't seen it in so long, that it was just overwhelmingly good to me. This NXT, it felt purposeful from start to finish, and I love that. I love that. I'm actually, because I'm at a level with everybody. When they first introduced the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, I was kind of mad about it. I'm like, well, that's really cool. All respect to Dusty, but this year, I'm fucking pumped for it. I think we got great teams. Look at what we're already doing with it.
And I mean, yeah, we've got great teams that we already knew about, but I love that they're actually introducing teams through the DRTTC too, because we're getting SAnitY next week. We've got Austin Aries with a mystery partner that's heavily rumored to be a Rodri Strong. We've got, Swan and Jose, who haven't teamed up on NXT TV yet. We've got, we had the Bollywood boys. We've got Gulak and Nice teaming up. They're going to be in a match, I think maybe even next week as well. I mean, just all kinds of awesome teams that we haven't seen before, and debuting teams like SAnitY.
Yeah, dude, I completely agree. This was NXT, like I said earlier, putting its best foot forward. And I think next week, personally, I think next week it'll probably be a shutout on my end. Oh, yeah, Lucha Underground dominated. But for tonight, it was great to see NXT in full fucking form. With that said, partner, do you have anything else you want to say?
I don't know if I'm capable of saying anything else that would add to any kind of discussion, so just take it home, brother.
Guys, I think this live review is going to hold a special place in my heart for a multitude of reasons. We love you guys, but now to sign it out, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my co-host and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment, subscribe, and please leave a like. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top result when people search for NXT reviews. And when you're as good as we are, that's the only place we deserve. So be sure to leave a like if you can. I greatly appreciate it. We greatly appreciate it. You guys already know all the stuff to check out to my cohort and commentaries, glorious backgrounds. What you guys may not know is to submit questions for Q&A. This will be Q&A number 4. Will be October 28th, last Friday of every month. You could submit questions through, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all sorts of mediums that you have at your disposal. Everybody gets 5 questions per Q&A. It can be on any topic, wrestling, non-wrestling. We got a nice variety of questions in the last Q&A. I would hope so, because there was 59 of them. And you can ask questions either all to me, all 5 to me, all 5 to Ashton, or you can divvy them up, or just, make all 5 to both of us, So, yeah, just get those questions in there, guys, and we will see you again for No Mercy preview and predictions. I'm thinking that's going to be this Friday, right, partner? At
Correctamundo, Friday at, I believe, do you want to do 9 or 8 p.m., John? I'll let you make that call.
You know what? I think 8 p.m. we could get more people in here, including people that live outside the U.S. So I think for their convenience, 8 sounds good. Yeah. Because like I said,
8 p.m. Eastern time, which would be 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain time, 7 p.m. Central, and if you live in the UK, it is 2 a.m.
Not too bad.
No, 1 a.m. 1 a.m. actually. That's even better. So there you go.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? I think going forward, if we can manage it, that does seem like a good time for videos like that.
Hell, it's a Friday night. You don't have to wake up early on Saturday morning. No one works or goes to school on Saturday morning. So there you go.
Yeah. So guys, be there 8 p.m. Friday, preview and predictions for No Mercy. Looking like I can't wait to talk about it with you, dude, because I'm hyped as fuck for it. But until then, guys, until then, guys, tune in and peace out.